Sarkars don't receive a salary for the work that they do. This is like voluntary. Yeah. So they take care of they apply for funding to the government and they get funds and they get the work done for village development. Imagine for them to, align with the purpose of, say, for example, localizing sustainable development goals. Now, for you and I who are in this development sector, for us to understand, and you and I will pursue 1 or 2 or 3 goals and say that this aligns with my enterprise, and then put it out in open. Now, these guys, have to literally worked on, all 17 goals. For them to really make it happen, imagine the amount of effort and the courage that they have to muster, and put their team together at the village level. Now, where does it all come from? I think living our life socially responsible is more important than being in the social sector.
Oh yeah, that's a very, very fair statement to say.
I'm sure I followed your work on pink toilets and pedal on, and I must say that you're doing amazing work.
If somebody like you was saying it, I'm sure that it's okay. I mean, I'm just taking small steps.
They will make the big difference.
Hi everyone. Today, where my heart lies in creating that life for some people, where I can, in my small capacity, bring changes through Pedal On. I have come across so many beautiful people who are doing impact in a huge way. And today we have Shalabh here, whom I've met very recently because of the fantastic work that you're doing. Shalabh Mittal, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You are the founding CEO of School of Social Entrepreneurs India, and in this beautiful space for more than 2 decades.
Yeah, I think.
Is that
right?
It's
true, very much. Yeah, it just feels very overwhelming when I think that more than 2 decades now in the social sector.
Yeah.
As people call it, but as I would say, this was destined. It was destiny. So wherever it has taken me, I've just moved with the flow.
Wow. I thought I was the person who always moves with the flow, and then I discovered Second Act and I said, no, sometimes we need to get out of the flow to discover something that you don't have. Did you ever feel that?
So, I think my life has been guided, I would say, by the invisible hand. And it has overpowered many of the things that have happened or I have wanted that they should happen in my life. So I would say that it's not all my doing. Yeah, there is someone else who is directing. I'm just the actor. So I think I live my life in many ways with this feeling and with this belief. So if I take the ownership of whatever I have done, I think I would fail. But if I have to really find success, it's someone else who's doing it.
So, okay, that makes me ask you this question. So, what is success for you? How do you define it for yourself?
Oh, well, maybe I've used the word right now, but I've never thought about it.
Okay.
But
yeah, this platform is such, lots of things come and then people say, oh yeah, thank you for asking. I am thinking about it now. So how do you define it then?
I think success is something to me which is on a daily basis I pursue, or I would pursue, or I should pursue, because it kind of drives me for whatever I'm doing on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. So I think at the end of the day, when I hit the bed, if I'm feeling happy and satisfied and that I've made it for the day, I think that's success for me.
Very nice.
And start next day, fresh. That's what success to me would be. But if if I come to the normal plane and talk to people around me, what we label as success is truly not success to me. What I generally hear around myself. But in every act, in every endeavor, in every purpose that you pursue, अगर पूरी शिद्दत से काम किया है ना, तो वो success है.
Very nice, very nice. So coming back to going back 2 decades before. So who was Shalabh and what has happened to Shalabh now in the last 2 decades?
So I would say that Shalabh is evolving. Yeah, still evolving. My divine master actually, said Shalabh, meaning kya hai? So and then he answered, he said Patang Vihang Nirang. He actually called me a butterfly.
Oh.
So I would say it's like caterpillar to a butterfly. It's metamorphosis. So Shalabh is evolving. Yeah, that's what I would. That's how I would put it. Quoting my own divine master. Um, but if you ask me, 22 years ago or 25 years ago and now, the values haven't changed. I think I'm strong where I was before, maybe stronger. And thanks to all the people who have been in my life, who have inspired me and guided me and held my hand to be where I am today. Um, 20 years ago, I was looking for, what could I do, for maybe, to make a living, if you have to say it. But I think there was something more that I wanted to do. And after doing my master's in finance, anybody would expect or imagine that, I should have joined a bank or I should have,
absolutely.
have a career. All my friends from my, college are doing pretty well with their careers in banks and in institutions that they would have, pursued their career with. And here I was still struggling to realize at that time as to what should I do. And I stumbled upon, exploring the development sector.
Nice.
And that was with a very, very small NGO working in Delhi, largely with street children and runaway children. And that's why I started my career. Before doing that, I was very confused and I was literally, in tears. And that's when my father hugged me and he asked me what happened. So I said, I think this is something that I want to do. And he just said 3 words: follow your heart.
Nice.
And he just said, Shalabh, if this is something that you want to do, yeah, just do it. And I think those 3 words changed, everything that has happened in my life.
Wow.
And I think that's it. I followed my heart. I followed my father's words, and that's what it is.
Great. So tell me, because you are now, of course, a very person who's experienced everything in the social sector, what changes do you see that's happened in the last 20 years to today?
I think...
and I specifically asked this question for people who want to enter this space like me. So I want to understand, what is this space now versus what was it when you started?
So I would say that, we have more than 100-year-old history in India for the voluntary sector, for the social sector per se. The country is the country because of the movements and the independence movement itself, which has, Gandhian philosophy ingrained into what we what we have achieved, so far in this country. I would say that, as I say that evolution is normal for everyone, all of us evolving, this sector is also evolved, and we must embrace it. If I say that today we are very different from what we were, even if I have to say 20 years ago, oh yes, I think we're very different from what we were 10 years ago. Yeah, and why not?
And why not?
And why not? Because the CSR space has become very vibrant, which is what, about 8-9 years of history. If we talk about social entrepreneurship, maybe the way the West has defined social entrepreneurship and the way the country has experienced, we have had social entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurs, for decades. But to build the term social entrepreneurship, it's just a decade old, or maybe half a decade only. For people to understand, what it, because impact investments and impact bonds is a very, very recent fare for people to really get excited about it. But if you are, asking that, is this something that people should, pursue, or is this, if this is something, people should take it up as a career, I would just say
Follow your heart.
follow your heart. Not really, if you think that this is something, which is what people are talking about, and that's why you should be here, I would say just don't.
Don't do it.
Don't. You can follow your heart and just find your purpose in any sector that you want to. I think living our life socially responsible is more important than being in the social sector.
Oh yeah, that's a very, very fair statement to say.
Yeah. If I work in the green energy space, or if I work in space where I talk about climate action and environment, and in my own house, if I'm not living a life which is more environmentally conscious, my buying habits are not environmentally conscious, then I think I would not be doing justice with the work that I'm doing. So I'm not saying that I am 100% there, but I'm making effort in every way possible.
Wow.
And that's where I would say I fail on a daily basis, but I'm also inching towards success on a daily basis.
Yeah, so Shalabh, I want to just recap till now. So what I hear from Shalabh is that success is defined by the way that we spend our day and not limit ourselves to thinking what the world thinks success as in definition is. Social sector, of course, should evolve and has evolved like any other sector. And I think this is something that he truly believes in, that if you want to do better in anything, you need to evolve in that space. Also that, of course, you can follow your heart because you want to be in the social sector, but you can do the way that you want to scale up because of what you believe is your purpose. You can do in anything that you do, and you don't have to fall into the social trap, if I may say, right, that you must be here. You can do it anywhere. I think very important points that you've spoken about. And people in the social sector or wanting to join the social sector like me, of course, I will also think about this conversation. I have, of course, stepped into it, to be honest, Shalabh, and it is also because I got an exposure into it. And I felt that, yes, this is what brings me my higher success every day as well. So I hope I'm able to make the best of it.
I'm sure I followed your work on Pink Toilets and Pedal On. And I must say that you're doing amazing work. Just keep at it.
Oh, thanks, Shalabh. If somebody like you was saying it, I'm sure that it's okay. I mean, I'm just taking small steps.
They will make the big difference.
But I also talk about, because see, the thing is that I'm a very new person here, and I also see that it's a very challenging space. But again, going back to what is not challenging. My second act work is challenging, and so is Pedal On. So when somebody talks about social space, like my mindset is changing. So yeah, even this space is challenging. I want to do good work, but I'm not able to sometimes because of all the bureaucracy which is involved. So much paperwork, so much reports have to go on. Like if you have to pitch for something, they need your 5-year projection. There's so much that you have to think about, as much as like putting it on paper, as not as much as like doing it on ground. So I'm just battling with that right now. Do you think that is something that also comes in other people's way, or am I feeling overwhelmed? Or why is this sector like? I mean, is it normal? I mean, I'm just saying.
So when I say that, well, how would you evolve otherwise in the sector? How would you gain experience if this does not happen to you? Would you not question your own self that, where is the accountability? Where is the transparency? For everything that you're doing here, if it was not questioned, if it was not asked, if paperwork was not necessary,
It's necessary. I just feel it's overwhelming sometimes because one doesn't have a huge team when you're starting with, right? I mean, you're doing everything yourself. So somebody like me setting up the place as well, thinking of the programs myself, what will create, sitting with the people to find out what is their need, how to build around that need, how to make their lives better. And then there is, of course, a lot of other things you have to do. So sometimes I feel for small founders like me, it could get a little bit overstretched because then that is also as important as doing something on ground.
So
And
you
yeah,
must realize that when you come to work in a social sector, whether it's a foundation or an NGO or a not-for-profit, you are dealing with public money. You're raising money.
yeah,
You're going to use public money, for doing the good work. That's your purpose. That's your vision. Yeah,
oh yeah, that's true.
isn't it? So you have to be very, very careful with the money that you take. You have to
Yeah.
be double insured, responsible,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
accountable.
Yeah.
And that's why, all of this. If it was not there, and if we were not, restrained by it, people would have misused this money, to for many other things.
Sure.
So I think that's where, social responsibility comes.
Very good. So this is a great point. So because when people tell me that, are you sure you want to step into this because of the kind of bureaucracy that involves, the kind of projections that you have to do, the kind of paperwork that has to be done, the kind of compliances that have to be met, I pause and I said to myself so far that if I am able to deliver to the expectations, what is that I have to do extra? I'm exactly doing what is expected of me and I'm able to deliver it. So there is no extra effort. I ask this question because I'm also feeling that this is how the social space is making you also fearful. Oh, don't get in. Are you sure you want to get into this? Do you really think that this is important? So yeah, Shalabh, thank you for saying what you said, that I do not think that this is an extra effort because of feeling responsible. It's like, it's the same thing at home, right? If I'm taking money from somebody else, my husband, my father, I am really guilty, by the way. I feel I'm accountable. I feel that I'm not doing justice. And of course, when they ask me, not that you want to explain to them, but yeah, you need to explain to them. It's their money after all.
Yeah,
so I feel it's the same thing. So thank you for bringing that. And I think if people are not feeling guilty of taking somebody else's money, I think we need to be accountable and responsible.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's true. So we also spoke about social leadership. That is a new term I heard when I was talking to you today. What exactly is social leadership and how can we use it?
So, I think every social entrepreneur, for that matter, is a social leader, isn't it? And why I use that term is, so recently, we were working with Sarpanch from Gram Panchayats in Gujarat. And the idea was to build their capacities to
Be the leader.
be the leader and look at how sustainable development can be pursued at the Gram Panchayat level. Now imagine, Sarpanchs don't receive a salary for the work that they do. Yeah.
Oh, really?
No?
No, I have no
There's
idea.
no salary. Yeah.
So how do they earn money then?
So this is
This is like a voluntary
yeah,
work.
this is like voluntary. Yeah. So they take care of they apply for funding to the government and they get funds and they get the work done for village development. Imagine for them to, align with the purpose of, say, for example,
Yeah.
localizing sustainable development goals. Now, for you and I who are in this development sector, for us to understand, and you and I will pursue one or two or three goals and say that this aligns with
Yeah.
my enterprise,
Right.
and then put it out in open. Now, these guys,
Yeah.
have to literally worked on, all 17 goals. Yeah, isn't it? And for them to really make it happen, imagine the amount of effort and the courage that they have to muster, and put their team together at the village level. Now, where does it all come from? How do they actually hone their own skill set? Yeah, be a leader, be a social leader,
Right.
and lead the campaign for their Gram Panchayat to become, to have sustainable development as a goal. And I think that's where, this whole idea of taking social leadership to the next level, that everybody, for that matter, every leader has to behave responsibly towards society, has to keep the society's interests above everything else.
Very nice.
And that's how, this idea of social leadership, more importantly for people who are leading organizations, who are
Yes.
leading government, who are leading efforts that impact lives of people around.
Yeah.
I think they have to, really be capacitated to become social leaders.
Very
And that
nice.
only comes by, conscious effort.
Yeah. I think like everything else.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to make a better life of ourselves. This conscious effort we have to do constantly, right? So, if I ask you, what are the 3 important learnings that have come from working in the social entrepreneurship space? What would your prime learnings, which you can think of right now?
Okay. So one, I would say that I tell to every cohort of our fellows who come every year to work with us. So we run a fellowship program, social startup fellowship program. Recently we launched one in the Northeast.
Okay.
So the first thing that I always say when we do a group agreement and we talk about ourselves is embrace your vulnerability. We are all vulnerable, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Just embrace it. There is no harm in accepting that, I don't know this.
Yeah. So important.
Just embrace it. अगर कोई fault है मेरा तो यार मैं कहने के लिए तैयार हूँ यार this is my fault. या मुझे नहीं आता. या, and because that's where the journey begins. If you don't accept it, it will not even begin for you. I keep, fooling myself. I'll keep fooling others as well.
True.
I'll keep lying to myself and I'll lie to others. Yeah. So that's, I think one big one for me. Yeah. The second, I would say that I can learn from anyone for that matter. So when we are launching our fellowship program, so we don't ask for any education qualification. No CV is asked for. 18 to 70 years, anyone can apply. Language is not a barrier for us.
No.
Yeah. So that's how we try to create learning in our program. So, age no bar, language no bar, education no bar. I think that's the way we need to make learning happen in our lives. So just be ready to accept that.
Nice.
मत सोचो कि यार रोड पे चलता हुआ इंसान आपको कुछ नहीं सिखा सकता, एक पानी पूरी बेचने वाला आपको नहीं सिखा सकता, वो रोज मुझको सिखाता है कि भाई जब मेरा कस्टमर एक गोलगप्पा रखता है ना अपने मुंह के अंदर तो वो जितनी उसको खुशी मिलती है ना, खुशी देख के मुझे मेरे लाइफ का पर्पस रोज मिलता है.
सही बात.
I feel happy every day on a daily basis and I realize my purpose of life on a daily basis.
So true.
So, I think that satisfaction. So, just to say that I can learn from anyone. Learning can come from anyone.
Wow.
So that's I would say is the second. And the third, I would say that accept it that you are a selfish person. Yes.
Wow, that's a good one.
Because if I'm not doing it for myself, if I don't have that self-worth, if I don't have that my own purpose, I have not realized it enough that I'm pursuing it for it, it will not happen. अगर आपको किसी को खुश करना है ना तो पहले अपने आप को खुश कर लो. Otherwise, you will not be able to make happy, others happy. So, I always say, and I was telling you that my biggest confession is that my work is something that heals me on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
That's how I would put it. So I think we are here in this sector. अगर मैं नहीं तो कुछ नहीं ना, अगर सांसें नहीं चल रही हैं तो क्या है? कुछ भी नहीं है. So at the end, you are a very important person. Look after yourself. Take care of yourself.
Beautiful. So Shalabh, of course, we've spoken about social entrepreneurship. I want to now know about the school that, the School of Social Entrepreneurs that you are leading. So what's happening in that school? How was that school formed? What is the intention of the school? What does it do? Etc. So that people who are hearing also know. So
SSC School for Social Entrepreneurs was set up in the UK in 1997 by a man called Michael Young.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's been, set up more than 50 social enterprises during his lifetime.
Right.
And an amazing story. Maybe, we'll find another interaction to tell you the story in detail.
Okay.
But they have done amazing work in the UK, Australia, Canada, and then it came to India. In India, it was PwC and PwC India Foundation, which kind of became, the development and founding partners for SSE in India.
Okay.
And the whole gap that was covered by bringing the SSE, the flagship program that we offer, is to create a learning program for social entrepreneurs. Yeah, I think that was something. Incubators were there, accelerators were there, but literally, for an early idea stage, entrepreneur, there were very less learning opportunities. Look at the way we have created our universities and colleges, the incubators inside the universities and colleges. Yeah, highly meritocratic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yes,
Isn't
of course.
तो एक आम आदमी, एक आम
कहाँ जाए?
महिला कहाँ जाएगी? Yeah.
You're
So I think that's something. The whole effort was to make it as inclusive as possible, and that's why I said that 18 to 70 years anyone can apply. No, we don't ask for any education qualification. We don't ask for anything for that matter. Yeah, we look at the individual and the idea, the problem that they're trying to solve through their enterprise. That's what is primary for us. If it kind of aligns with what SSE can help them with, they are into the program.
So are these different cohorts on a specific format that are created? So like I'm asking, like if I have stepped into the entrepreneurship world, social entrepreneurship world now, and I want to get more deeper knowledge into it, can somebody like me apply? Or is it for specific set of people who are stepping in at a younger age and for a specific cause? So like I know that I was called for a sanitation program, right? So that was a cohort for sanitation entrepreneurs. WASH. So now you are doing something in
the Northeast.
In the Northeast. That's on what?
Basically the region is important there.
Okay.
So entrepreneurs, we are supporting entrepreneurs from the region, the Northeast region and the West Bengal.
Okay.
In that program. The one that we came for was a thematic program, so it was a WASH theme. So SSE, when we launched, we are sector agnostic for that matter. Yeah?
Okay.
So anybody from any sector, you should be solving a social problem, a complex social problem. That was, the key. But then we have also launched thematic programs like for the one that you came.
Yes.
Yeah. We've also done programs, specifically women entrepreneurs program.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, only for women entrepreneurs. So we create thematic programs, we create region-specific programs. So we customize learning programs, for the needs. Many times donors put, demands to us that we want to support only women, like that.
Got it.
So that's how we can customize a learning program. But if you ask for, School for Social Entrepreneurs, we are sector agnostic. We are, through the fellows that we support, we are solving the social problems. We are not doing it directly, we're doing it through them.
Right.
And through our learning and development programs, we support these entrepreneurs. Now, we are not a typical school as, a school. We are more, I would say, we follow an action learning approach. So we have very strong bias towards taking actions. So
strong bias.
Very, very strong bias. So, if you're not taking actions around yourself and your idea, you will not move forward. Yeah. So we actually, this is going to be out in public, but we actually claim that, 90% of our fellows, would register their enterprises by the time that they graduate from the program.
Wow.
Yeah,
Super.
Yeah. So that's how the methodology works.
So nice.
Yeah. We actually push you.
So since you also work in kind of urban and rural setups, what's the difference you feel in even acceptance of being a social entrepreneur or working in that space, or the fellows who come from both? What is the difference that you feel?
So I would say, see, we first of all, I want to put it out that we don't, you know, distinguish between the not-for-profit and for-profit. Okay, for us, it's the social purpose taking,
Yeah.
priority over everything else. That's most important. Yeah. So, आपको not-for-profit setup करना है या for-profit setup करना है, that's a secondary. It's for the entrepreneur or for the person to decide that you want to be part of the not-for-profit world or the for-profit world. It's up to you. Yeah. So first thing is that whether you're solving the social problem or not. Now let's look at it. Who can best solve a social problem? Someone who has experienced it firsthand, isn't it?
Of course.
Yeah. Or else had a very deep exposure to the problem that he or she is trying to solve. I sitting in my drawing room and thinking about the world's problems, I'm not the best person to solve those problems because I'm
Right.
not there directly into it. I'm just fantasizing it.
Right.
That's all. So we look for individuals like that. Yeah. And I think that makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So वो rural से आ रहा है, urban से आ रहा है, that does not matter really. But what matters is whether they have been part of the problem or not, or at least experience the problem or not. Yeah. Because best solutions come from them. So now, if that's the kind of person, whether coming from the rural areas or urban areas, in our experience, it really does not matter. Because there, the problem becomes the most important thing. Yeah. And the entrepreneur's commitment to solving that problem. What happens in our program? We work on the individual's mindset. Yeah. It's building that entrepreneurial mindset. And what does an entrepreneur do? Now, in general, you go to any entrepreneurship program, they'll say you should, be a risk taker. What does it really mean to take risk? The biggest risk is, have a chat with your father and your mother and your family that they accept you, that you want to pursue this. That's one of the biggest hurdles that they face. Now, where do I get that courage to convince everyone around me कि यार मुझको ये करना है? In our society, हम तो शर्म से ही नहीं कर पाएंगे ये. करना चाहता हूँ पर नहीं कर पाऊंगा.
सही बात.
So how do I actually, so how do I take action around that? And that's where action learning comes in. So those small actions, because that's solving, the barriers that are there within me, within my mind, yeah, which are holding me back. कि मैं ये कर पाऊँ. मैं पूरी तरह से कब कर पाऊँगा? Suppose if you're not able to convince your husband that, for your pedal on, yeah, and you're not able to talk to him looking straight into his eyes. I had such a good career in the hospitality industry, and now I've left everything suddenly and I'm into this. Yeah, imagine if that was a barrier in you.
Yeah, true.
And we have people who have lived with that barrier, for years. And when they come to a program like this, they can solve it.
Very nice. And I think I go back to what you said right now, just a few minutes back, that knowing yourself, being selfish about what you want or your own needs and caring about that enough, I think that paves the way. Then you're also able to maybe first you need to be convinced yourself.
Yes.
And I think that conviction comes when you're really, truly believing in what you want to do. And I think then it's easier to convince somebody else, and then you don't care so much about the repercussions or what will people say, even if it's your own family. So I think, the first step is important. Caring about what you want to do is important, and then reaching out, right?
Because, what does it call for? I think the biggest virtue, at least, in my own life, if I'm yet to work on this virtue more, and somebody asks me which would that be, I would say courage.
Wow.
On a daily basis, I want courage to, lead on to what I'm doing.
So how have you handled failures? I'm sure there will be plenty coming.
Oh, yes.
You said failures are a part of every day.
Oh, yes. I fail every day.
So how are you handling that?
Well, if I say that, resilience and emotional stability and strength, all of that will be But
That we're reading every day.
yeah,
What's
so
your real mantra?
um, I think what I said is the first learning which, embrace your vulnerability. I think I do it on a daily basis. Because, if अगर कुछ हो नहीं रहा है तो शायद मैं भी तो कुछ नहीं कर रहा हूँ ना. There is something that where even I am lacking.
Wow.
So I think constantly on a daily basis work on that. Do I do it on daily basis? Yes and no. Yeah. But then am I aware of it? I think that's important. Because this is only this much I can, achieve on a given day.
Right.
So I do it well. And I think that's the mantra. It takes time. Castles are not built on a single day, isn't it? That's what
Yeah.
we all believe in. But have we made the effort to collect the resources that would be needed? घर नहीं बनाया, मकान नहीं बनाया, पर ईंटें तो इकट्ठी कर लो. वो करना है मुझे रोज. एवरी डे वो उतना तो काम करना ही है ना.
ईंटें इकट्ठी करनी है, सही बात है.
घर भी बनता रहेगा साथ में.
Yeah.
So I think that is I think we need to really break down, our goals to, for daily achievement. If we're not tracking ourselves on a daily basis, we'll be missing on our own lives.
So true. Yeah. So I take it from here that, things are not going to happen suddenly. We need to build our own castle slowly and steadily and not give up. And I think something beautiful will come out of it. Shalabh, this is also a second act podcast. And important question which I always ask the guests is, what is your second act? What is the meaning of the second act that you take out from, this whole conversation and this whole platform that I'm creating? The idea is that your story can touch somebody's life today. Your second act can make hope for somebody today to say, if Shalabh can do it, so could I. So do you think that there is a second act that you're living? Is there anything that you're building consciously, like you said? What's your second act?
Recently in my neighborhood, one of the school invited me to interact with their 8th standard students. So that school is up to 8th and they are graduating and going to a new school. So they wanted me to come and spend some time, and it was just the students and me. The principal and the teachers, they stepped out of the room and they said, we just want you to be with them. And we discussed about many things, and children shared, what they want to do. And so then I realized after an hour, that there's something more that they want to share with me, but somehow they are, hesitating. So, okay, fine. I said, okay, let's close our eyes for 3 to 4 minutes. And I took them, quickly into a small meditation, a guided meditation. And after 3 to 4 minutes, when they opened their eyes, all very relaxed and calm, composed. And then I asked them again, is there something else that you would like to share with me? And promptly, one boy, he opened up and he said, "Sir," and with tears in his eyes, and that gave me goosebumps even now. He said, "I want my father to smile. I want to bring smile to his lips. I've never seen him smiling."
Oh my
That
God.
just, left me with and brought tears into my eyes as well. And I was, my goodness, 8th class boy, and that's what he wants to do. And yes, we went further into his story, and I'm in touch with him now. But I think that's what it is. So I think if I have to say that was my encounter, and that is my encounter, and every day I think there are moments like this that come into my life, which kind of make me feel that there is so much to do. There is so much to do. And Maybe,
Yeah.
I can beat myself and say, Shalabh, you're not doing enough. But could be that that's true. But how
Yeah.
much more can I do? But I really want to. I think that's where I really want to take it. And that would be the first and the second and third act. And I think all my actions, because as I said, I have a very strong bias towards taking actions. अगर कुछ करना है और उसके ऊपर एक्शन नहीं ले रहे हो तो कुछ होने ही नहीं वाला सोचने से कुछ नहीं होगा
Wow, what a different second act came out today, and thank you for sharing. Yes, it is. Yeah, I wish that. I also feel that, if I'm able to touch one person any time of, the day and do something that can create something meaningful, it's also very pleasant. So, thank you for doing that. So thank you, Shalabh. But we need to make it a little more fun now because that's very intense social entrepreneurship conversation, and everybody will think ये social वाले हंसते नहीं है, मतलब like there's no fun. So okay, so this is rapid fire, by the way.
Okay.
And so, what is fun for Shalabh?
Okay, so I cook to deal with stress. So I would love to host you for lunch, dinner, whatever you.
Yeah, very
I
happy
will
to
cook for you. Yeah. I think a lot of music, dance, masti. That's all for me.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, so what's your favorite color? Not that I am not looking at what we are wearing, but what's your favorite color?
Okay, yellow and shades of yellow. But if you ask me, combination of black and white is something that I love to wear.
Oh, beautiful. So since we spoke about food, so what's your favorite food?
घर का बना खाना.
No, but what?
So I'm a vegetarian. Yeah. So I think dal chawal is my favorite.
Oh, no. Okay, yeah, sweet. Sweet? I would say sweet. Okay. That was sweet. Okay, so is there a book or a quotation or somebody's reference that you often bring up in speaking when you're addressing people or even in a day-to-day? Is there something that you follow?
So, I have lived, all my life reading from my divine master. So I follow Shri Sathya Sai Baba and, I've read a lot of Gandhi and, engaged myself, to maybe, gain perspective from there. So I think that's something which, I bring up in all that I say, it comes from there. But I have read almost, every spiritual master, be it Aurobindo or, even Osho for that matter, everyone. So something or here and there I've, kind of tried to bring it just for me to, also use it as a mirror. Yeah, and reflect and say, okay, fine, where do I stand? Where am I?
So do you have a takya kalam, as they say, like one phrase you use very often?
Chalo.
Chalo is like, okay. Yeah, I think chalo, a lot of my foreign bosses and my colleagues from Germany, Switzerland, Chicago, US, they all know this word chalo.
Chalo.
Because I think theek hai chalo, these are some things that we use very often.
But if you have to ask me otherwise, something that I use very often, और कोई बात है क्या?
Oh, yeah.
You have to ask somebody, so it's like getting into your why. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Because I think I also speak a lot about conversations and how we can actually make conversations better for the relationships we care for. So in that, I always encourage open-ended questions rather than saying, how are you feeling okay or not? And addressing it as what I can do better today to make you feel better. So it's like basically just addressing it with more openness so that the other person opens up.
Yes,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Just give space, no?
Yeah. So one last thing that you would like to leave us with today, with your life, with something that's coming to you right now.
So I would, urge everyone, all your viewers, and to just think about, am I really living my purpose? Yeah. Because it doesn't come easy. But it's there. It's happening with us on a daily basis. So if you ask me, I am opening up to become more aware to it. Yeah, that's how I would put it. So even in the work that I do with School for Social Entrepreneurs, a lot of people ask me, Shalabh, 7 साल हो गए हैं, यही कर रहा है. So I said, I have never, even counted or have not thought like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like for example, we, as I said, we kind of did work with Gram Panchayats and Sarpanch. So something very different from what we do on entrepreneurship learning. How did this happen? It just evolves, just come. It's like, through engagement, discussions, and our own ability to, visualize that this is something that, we can do, we can offer. Yeah. And it's not about business or work. Yeah, it's not about creating more business for ourselves. I think it's much, much more than that, and I think that's where the purpose lies.
Very nice. So thank you for defining that too, because mostly when you say live your purpose, this question will come, but how do I know my purpose? How do I define it? So thanks, Shalabh. What a beautiful conversation. I think it leaves people who are in this space and people who are wanting to enter this space with a lot that they can think about today from this conversation. And we do need people like Shalabh more and more who are truly living their heart, what their heart wants.
Who are evolving from caterpillar to butterfly.
Yeah, so beautiful. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So this is yet another incredible episode of Discover Your Second Act. I'm hoping that as me, you are feeling very, very excited, enthusiastic and learned about all the nuggets that came out. So follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, and of course, until next time, keep discovering your second